The water is dark tonight, not frightening, not cold, just wide, endless, and still. You are drifting slowly in a small wooden boat, creaks softly as it rocks beneath you. Above, the sky is heavy with velvet clouds. No stars, yet only space, waiting to open. You do not row. You do not steer. You have already done enough today. The work of waking life, all its thinking, deciding, remembering now folds inward like petals closing for the night. In the distance, something glows, a faint, golden shimmer, like a single star fallen to the surface of the sea. It floats gently toward you, bobbing with the rhythm of the waves. This is the first lantern. It does not speak, but something about its presence feels familiar, like a memory just out of reach, or the moment right before rain. As it nears, it casts its soft light over your boat, and you feel it, the shift, not in your arms or legs, but in the quiet center of you. That subtle slide between doing and being, between being awake and something else. This is what your brain begins to do each night. Not switch off, but change form. It leaves behind the fast, electric chatter of daytime and enters a slower, gentler rhythm. Your neurons, those tiny, glowing messengers, they begin to pause between signals. They hum in lower tones, in slower patterns, like waves spacing out on a moonlit shore. This state has a name, the hypnagogic state. But names do not matter here. What matters is how it feels, like a soft mist moving across your thoughts, blurring the lines between real and imagined, pulling you towards something deeper. In this threshold, your body is still mostly awake, but your mind begins to wander. Images rise like birds, quick and surprising. A face you haven't seen in years. A place that never existed but feels like home. A sound with no source. A door with no handle. This is not dreaming yet. This is drifting. Your brain is testing the boundary. It's gently lowering the gates between the outer world and the inner one. That outer world full of alarms, notifications, headlines, and lights becomes less important here. You no longer need to respond. Here, your senses are like lanterns dimming one by one. The sharpness of sound fades first. Noises become part of the distance. Then your sight, though your eyes are closed, starts to paint with more inward colors, shapes that flow instead of hold. Even your body begins to feel like water, loosening, lengthening, as muscle tone gently fades away. What you feel now is called stage 1 sleep. But again, names are just daytime labels. What truly matters is what your brain is doing underneath. It is testing your weightlessness. It is asking, can I let go now? Is it safe to rest? And your nervous system, that ancient watchtower of muscle and bone, starts to nod in reply. Your breathing slows, your heartbeat follows. The balance between systems shifts, from the engine of sympathetic alertness to the lullaby of parasympathetic calm. And now another lantern passes by. This one is smaller, flickering like it holds an idea not yet formed. Your brain is still aware of the outside world. A sound might still reach you, a movement might still bring you back, but the desire to follow is already fading. Instead, your mind begins to sink inward. You remember that you are not your thoughts, not your worries, not even your stories. You are the sea holding them. You are the boat that carries them. And now, gently, you are setting them down. You have entered the edge of sleep. Not the deep waters yet, but the silken layer above them. Some people call this a twilight state because it feels like dusk within the body, a turning inward, a closing of petals, a loosening of knots. The thalamus, a part of your brain like a gatekeeper, has begun to turn the handles on its many doors. Doors that bring you sound, light, touch, balance. One by one, those doors begin to close, but not all at once. This is a gentle goodbye to the world of waking. You may feel a slight jolt, a sudden muscle twitch. That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's common. like your brain checking in with your body one last time. Are you ready to float? And the body replies, with a flicker, then silence. You are almost ready to descend. And so you drift. There is no urgency here, no pressure to sleep. Sleep, like the sea, will come when it's ready, and it will come best when you stop trying to find it. Just drift, just breathe. The first lantern fades behind you, its glow dissolving into the water, and a head scattered across the sea. More lights begin to appear. Each one holds a secret, a story, a hidden rhythm of the sleeping mind. They are not waiting, they are simply there, like the stars above. When you finally remember to look up, you blink once more, maybe not even that, and the sea begins to deepen. Somewhere just beneath the next wave, your thoughts are slowing to whispers, your senses folding into rest. And still ahead, a second lantern moves toward you, soft and quiet as a sigh. What will it reveal? About the spaces between thoughts? About the stillness you didn't know your mind was capable of? Let it come. Let it float closer. You are ready to listen. The second lantern floats silently toward you. Its light is cooler, more silver than gold, a moonlight kind of glow. You do not reach for it. It arrives on its own, drifting along the same current as your breath. You are not thinking in the same way anymore. The sharp edges of your thoughts have softened, like words spoken underwater, still there, but no longer urgent, no longer loud. There is space now, between one thought and the next. Not empty space, but open space. This is the sea between thoughts, and tonight you are floating through it. Inside your brain, something remarkable is happening. Your neurons, the countless, whispering cells that carry thoughts like tiny torches, are beginning to quiet down. Their signals are less frequent. Their bursts of electricity are more like gentle pulses than sparks. During the day, your brain hums with activity. Every sight, sound, memory, decision, it all lights up regions of your brain in complex, beautiful patterns. It's like a city alive with lights, 1,000 windows glowing at once. But now that city dims. Now the lights flicker out one by one, until only a few remain, casting long, soft shadows. This downshift is not a failure. It's not a disconnection. It's balanced. Think of a lake disturbed by wind. Each gust sends ripples across the surface, overlapping and colliding. But when the wind stills, the lake settles. The ripples stretch wider, slower, until they fade into glass. That is your brain now, settling, widening, slowing. You may notice this in your thoughts. They begin to untangle from language. No more to-do lists or second-guessing or wondering what time it is. Instead, you begin to think in images, in impressions, like memories blurred by fog, or ideas that never quite become words. This is the threshold between awareness and immersion. It's the beginning of stage 2 sleep, a deeper step than before. Here, the brain doesn't simply rest. It begins to protect your sleep. Deep within your brain, special bursts of activity called sleep spindles start to appear. They look like sudden little waves, fluttering across your brain's surface. Brief but important, sleep spindles act like gentle shields. They guard your sleep by helping block out external noises, protecting the calm you've just begun to enter. Imagine someone closing the windows, so a breeze doesn't interrupt your dream. That's what sleep spindles do. They seal the room of your mind, so the deeper work can begin. And in this room, your awareness gently retracts. You are still here, but also not here. You feel the softness of your pillow, the slow warmth in your chest. But your identity, that sense of I am, has started to loosen its grip. You're not gone. You're just floating, like a boat unmoored, gliding over a calm sea, where the horizon meets the stars. Your brain, even now, remains active. It still listens faintly. It still regulates your heartbeat and breath. It still responds if something demands it. But you, the thinking you, have begun to let go. And this letting go is not a weakness. It's design. Human beings are built for this rhythm, this cycle of presence and release. You are not a machine meant to run forever. You are a tide, a breath, an ocean wave that needs to rise and fall. Beneath your thoughts, another intelligence is at work. An intelligence of balance, of rest, of rhythm. As your conscious mind drifts, your brain begins tuning its internal instruments. The thalamus quiets external inputs. The brainstem slows the pace of your breath. And the cortex, the storyteller of your world, begins to dim its stage lights. In this dimming, there is clarity. You begin to notice what exists between thoughts. Not just silence, but something alive. A presence that is not made of words. A stillness that feels like belonging. Your thoughts no longer lead. They follow. You are not your thoughts now. You are the space in which they happen. And the more space there is, the deeper you fall. The sea between thoughts is not empty. It is full of unseen motion. Tiny waves of memory shift beneath the surface. Bits of language reorganize in silence. Your brain begins sorting, preparing, setting the stage for deeper processes to come. Stage 2 sleep may seem uneventful, but it is essential. It lays the groundwork. It tells the rest of the body, yes, it's safe now. Let's go deeper. You may not notice the moment this chapter ends. It doesn't shout. It doesn't change direction. It simply continues. Just as a wave becomes the next wave, just as dusk becomes night, you slip further. Your body, too, is listening. Your temperature lowers. Your muscles relax more completely. Your eyes, behind their lids, become still. And somewhere in your chest, the breath you've carried all day lets itself be carried for a while. You do not need to do anything. Not now. Just notice how quiet it has become. Not outside, but within. You are between thoughts. And in that space, there is a kind of truth. One that isn't written in sentences or plans or problems. Just this, that you are here, that you are safe, and that this moment is enough. Ahead of you, another lantern waits. Its light is lower, softer, almost like a shadow. It does not float like the others. It stands still and solid like a doorway. You will pass through it soon, but not yet. First, float a little longer. Let your thoughts thin out until they are no longer thoughts, but feelings, and then not even that. Just water, just breathe, just stillness. And when the doorway opens, your body will know how to follow. You have drifted so far, and yet it feels like you've gone nowhere at all. Your boat still rocks gently on the dark sea, but the stars have disappeared behind a veil of fog. And then, you see it. Not a lantern this time, but something quieter. A shimmer on the water's surface. Circular, steady, silver like silence made visible. You glide closer, and within that shimmering ring, you see a shape. A structure like a gate, not made of stone or iron, but something softer. Light and shadow, open and closing like a breath. You do not need to knock. The gate already knows you're here. This is the thalamus, a tiny structure deep in your brain. It has been with you all day, translating every sound, every light, every movement. It's the messenger between the world and your awareness. The station where all sensations stop and wait for permission to be noticed. But now, as your sleep deepens, the thalamus begins to close its doors. Not all at once, not with force, just slowly, gently, like curtains being drawn at dusk. Outside sounds soften. The hum of the room, the distant engine, the imagined creak of a memory. They fade, not because they've disappeared, but because they're no longer let in. The gate of silence is not cruel. It does not shut the world out in anger. It simply chooses what matters most now. And what matters is rest. Inside your body, other voices are growing louder. But these voices don't use words. They are voices of rhythm. Your heartbeat, your breath, the small symphony of systems slowing down. The brain begins to listen inward, like a captain turning off the radio to hear the sea itself. Your mind withdraws from the chatter of the outer world and begins tuning into its own tide. This is the miracle of deeper sleep. Your ability to turn the senses down, to trust that the world will be there in the morning, so you can disappear into the softness within. Even the eyes, though closed, begin to rest more completely. No flickering beneath the lids now. No searching for meaning. Only stillness, as the brain prepares to enter its most sacred cycles. You feel this without knowing. Your limbs grow heavier, as if the sea were holding them. Your chest rises and falls, not because you ask it to, but because it simply does. You do not need to direct this moment. It is already carrying you. Inside your brain, cells called neurons continue their quiet work. But the speed has changed. They are not racing, not lighting up with constant urgency. Instead, they begin to pulse. Slow, rolling waves of electrical activity that mark the body's surrender to deep rest. These are called theta waves, the first real language of sleep. They are soft. They are low. They do not argue or rush. They simply move, one after another, like the ocean swells on a windless night. And as the thalamus closes its gate, these waves grow stronger. No more constant input, no more distraction, only rhythm, only calm. It is here, in this silence, that your body begins to reset. Muscles let go. Joint ease. Tension, which held on through the day like a thread pulled too tight, now loosens and slips into stillness. The parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and restore engine, takes the wheel, and with it, your body begins the sacred work of healing. You don't feel it happening, but it is. Blood pressure lowering, digestion settling, inflammation dimming like a lantern low on oil. And above all, the brain listens. It listens to itself now, to its own currents and whispers. It does not need to protect you from every sound, every movement, every flicker of change in the world, because the gate is closed, and you are safe inside. There is a deep intelligence in this moment, a quiet knowing that the body and mind can trust one another, can take turns being in charge. By letting the world go, your brain makes space for memory, for restoration, for dreams not yet begun. And still the gate holds. It is not a wall. It is a pause, a soft barrier, letting only the essential flow through. You may still hear a sound, a breeze outside, a voice in the distance, a dog barks, but now your brain asks, is this urgent? Is this worthy of breaking the silence? And most often, the answer is no. And so the gate stays closed, and you stay floating. You are not alone in this experience. Every night, across the world, millions of minds drift past this same gate, each carried by their own breath, each released by the same trust. And just as your gate closes, another opens, a deeper door, one that leads not only to silence, but to memory, to learn, to dream, to the long, slow waves, where your truest healing lives. That door waits just ahead. It is darker, it is deeper, it is quieter still, but it is not empty. It is a garden, and it has been growing all along. The silence has grown richer. No longer just the absence of sound, but the presence of something vast and alive. The sea is darker now, not frightening, but deep, a darkness full of quiet purpose, like soil resting before a bloom. You drift onward, past the closing gate, and the sky above you changes. It isn't starless anymore, but blooming, not with stars, but with soft green vines, tiny blossoms and golden leaves, hanging low and glowing gently, as if the night itself had become a garden. Your boat brushes against a soft shore, not sand, but moss. You have arrived. This is the garden beneath the sea, the place your mind goes in the deepest part of the night. It is quiet here, but not still. Inside your brain, you have entered what science calls slow-wave sleep. This is your body's truest rest. It is not passive. It is not empty. It is a field of deep repair. Your breath, now slower than before, draws in the scent of rest. Your heart beats like a gentle gardener's hand, steady, deliberate, calm. And within your skull, something beautiful is happening. Your neurons, billions of them, are pulsing together in long, sweeping waves. These are called delta waves, the slowest brain waves, the rhythms of restoration. They move like wind through tall grass, coordinated and smooth, a kind of harmony that doesn't need to be heard to be felt. In this state, your brain becomes the caretaker of your entire being. It begins its ancient work, clearing, sorting, healing, and planting. This is the time when your body repairs muscle and tissue, when the immune system strengthens its walls, when hormones rebalance, and when memory, that delicate thread woven through your life, is gently untangled, organized, and tucked away. Imagine a gardener moving through a moonlit field. She walks slowly with soft steps. She carries a lantern. She stops often to kneel, to pull one weed, to water one fragile root. That's your brain now, moving through the garden of the day you just lived. It examines the seeds of memory, the things you saw, heard, felt, the things you tried to remember. It gently asks, is this important? Should this be kept? And if the answer is yes, it plants the memory deeper, in stronger soil. If not, it lets it go, like petals drifting downstream. Much of this work happens in your hippocampus, a structure shaped like a seahorse, tucked deep inside your brain. All day long, the hippocampus records. It listens, it stores, but it can't hold everything forever. It's not meant to. So now, during slow-wave sleep, it unpacks its satchel, laying out memories like photographs on the floor. It sorts them gently, some to be stored in the neocortex, others to be quietly erased. This process isn't just about facts or information. It's emotional, too. Your brain reviews the feelings of your day. It softens the edges of pain. It gives you distance from difficulty. It adds warmth to joy, repeating the good things softly, so they settle in your bones. This is why, after deep sleep, you may feel more stable, more grounded, less tangled in yesterday's worries. You didn't forget them. You simply placed them where they belong. The garden beneath the sea is always in bloom, but you can't visit it with open eyes. It only opens for you in stillness. Its colors are not seen, but felt, a kind of internal blooming. In this slow-wave sleep, the brain is also sweeping. Tiny waste particles, byproducts of neural activity, are washed away by something called the glymphatic system, a nighttime rinse that clears the pathways between your cells. It's like rain falling softly on the garden floor, carrying away what is no longer needed. Scientists once believed sleep was idle, but now they know this is when the most essential work begins. Think of a library that is only organized at night, when no one is checking out books, when every volume can be reshelved, every aisle swept clean. That's your brain now, a silent librarian, a quiet gardener, a soft builder, laying stone upon stone, without sound. And you are simply the dreamer, resting inside all of this. You don't need to control it. You don't need to understand every detail. Your body knows how to restore itself. Your mind knows how to rearrange. You just need to stay soft enough to let it happen. Even your temperature drops during this stage. A signal to the body to conserve, to rest, to deepen. Your blood pressure lowers. Your liver, kidneys, lungs all follow this rhythm. And every cell is part of the choir. There is a reason you feel clearer after a good sleep. A reason why children grow as they slumber. Why illness retreats when you rest. This is not a coincidence. This is the wisdom of biology, handed down across oceans of time, from every creature that has ever dreamed. The garden beneath the sea is a gift you carry inside you, always ready to bloom when you allow the silence. And as you lie here now, you can feel it growing, not in any obvious way, but in the calm that fills your limbs, in the warmth in your chest, in the comfort that comes from knowing you are being tended to. And when the time is right, when your brain has cleared and planted and restored enough, you will begin to rise again, not to waking, but to another kind of night, a brighter one, stranger, more vivid. There is a lantern ahead. Its color is not green or gold, but something impossible to name. It waits just beyond the far edge of the garden, where slow waves meet sudden sparks, where your still mind begins to stir. This is where dreams are born. But don't leave the garden just yet. Let it finish its quiet work. Let the memory of today find its place. Let your body rebuild. Let the moonlight fall gently on the vines. And when the light begins to shimmer again, when the next lantern flickers like a match in the dark, you'll be ready to drift into the place where stories unfold in silence. The garden behind you begins to fade, its golden leaves dissolving into mist as your little boat sets sail again, gently, slowly, silently, across the midnight sea. The water here glows from beneath, like a lantern held below the surface. Ripples of soft color rise and fall around you. Not quite blue, not quite green, but something in between, that calms without asking for attention. You are moving now through a place of transfer. This is the part of sleep, where the mind becomes a careful messenger. You've passed through slow wave sleep, where the brain quietly heals and sorts. Now, a new current carries you into a different rhythm. Not as slow, not as deep, but more vivid, more alive. The waves here are no longer just delta. They begin to shimmer into theta and alpha, rhythms that ride on the edge of dreaming. This transition is gentle, not a switch, but a tide, the kind that carries driftwood from one island to another, unhurried, inevitable, and what it carries is memory. You see them now, faint, glowing shapes beneath the boat. Each one is a piece of your day, a laugh you almost forgot, a moment of stillness beneath a tree, a sound, a scent, a name. Not all memories are meant to stay, but some rise to the surface, like fireflies from the forest floor, blinking gently, asking to be remembered. This is called memory consolidation, a beautiful term for a natural process. It is your brain's way of deciding what to keep and what to let dissolve back into the water. And the guide through this process is still your hippocampus, that curled seahorse of the brain, tireless, quiet, and kind. It works like a lighthouse now, sending out signals, searching for the pieces that matter most. Once it finds them, it doesn't keep them. It sends them out to the neocortex, the higher regions of your brain, where long-term memory is built. But this isn't just a file transfer. It's more like weaving. The hippocampus spins threads and hands them to the neocortex, which slowly stitches them into the great fabric of you. Your story, your identity, your understanding of the world. That's what's being formed. Quietly, gently, in the hours after midnight, there are patterns to this weaving. Emotional memories, for example, are more likely to be saved, especially those with strong feelings. Joy, surprise, longing, fear. But the brain does something wise. It doesn't just store the feeling. It begins to reshape it. This is where your amygdala comes in, the part of the brain that processes emotion. During sleep, its activity changes. Emotional memories are softened, as if wrapped in cloth, and placed gently on a shelf. The rawness is eased, the sharpness dulled. That's why you can wake and feel calm about something that felt heavy only hours before. Sleep hasn't erased the truth. It has simply made it bearable, made it yours. The waves shimmer beneath you. Each one carries not just memory, but meaning. Even procedural memories, like how to ride a bike, how to type, how to play a note on a piano, are rehearsed during sleep. In the background, your brain is practicing, not by doing, but by repeating patterns, strengthening neural pathways. In a quiet rehearsal, you are learning, even now, even in dreams. Somewhere ahead, you see a thin line of light on the horizon. Pulses once, then again. It's the edge of REM sleep, a place where the brain begins to light up again, with activity that almost resembles waking. But you're not quite there yet. Right now, you are in the tide between worlds, between the slow waves of deep sleep and the sparkling flashes of REM. Here, time is soft, memories float, and the self, as you know it, drifts gently apart and reforms into something quieter. You may begin to see flickers, not quite dreams, but images, half sensations, a feeling of walking through a room you've never seen, but somehow recognize. This is your mind rehearsing possibilities. It is making connections you didn't think to make it when awake. It is solving puzzles. By letting go of the pieces, it is forming metaphors from the raw clay of experience. In this way, memory becomes not just storage, but creativity. You are not simply remembering. You are learning who you are, and you are doing so in perfect stillness. This process happens every night, whether you're aware of it or not. Even in the busiest seasons of your life, even when you feel disconnected or uncertain, your brain continues this work, steady, faithful, unseen. And isn't that comforting? To know that beneath everything, there is a part of you that tends to your story while you rest, that the truest parts of you are cared for. In silence, you feel the boat slowing now. The glowing tide beneath you begins to pull away. Ahead, the horizon flickers again, this time brighter. You are approaching the dream realm, and with you come the memories that made the journey. Some will become symbols, others will dissolve. A few may reappear in your dreams, transformed into stories your mind tells itself, in a language only it understands. But all of them served a purpose, because remembering is not just about the past. It's about anchoring yourself in the present. It's about knowing what you carry and what you're ready to let go. Your breath is slow. Your body is heavy. The waves that carried your memories are beginning to sparkle. You are entering REM, a place of color, motion, and story. But even as your mind prepares to drift there, know this: you are held, you are safe, and your story, the one you're still writing, even now, has found its home inside you. The sea stills, the gentle rocking of the boat fades into silence, and the world begins to turn silver. Above you, the sky no longer holds a single moon, but many floating, turning, like soft glass marbles in the quiet dusk. You are no longer simply sleeping, you are dreaming, and though it feels like drifting, your brain is wide awake beneath the surface. You've entered REM sleep, rapid eye movement, named for the tiny flickers your eyes make, as your mind explores entire worlds, without moving a muscle. In this space, your body is still, so still that it seems like floating, but your mind has stepped into a mirror. Dreams are not random. They're not just echoes of the day, or nonsense stitched together from shadows. They are messages, woven not in words, but in emotion, metaphor, and memory. Think of your brain like a painter. Each night in REM, it pulls colors from your thoughts, brush strokes from your experiences, and creates a canvas no one else can see. Some images are vivid, others fade on waking, but each serves a purpose. This is the brain's final gift in the sleep cycle, a way to make meaning, to soften hard edges, to prepare for another day with a lighter heart. Inside dreams, you face old fears. In new ways, you relive joys, but rearranged. The amygdala, the emotional core of your brain, is active during REM, which is why dreams often feel intense, like swimming through color instead of water. But something else happens here, a deeper calm, a quiet stitching of emotional wounds. In REM, your brain practices emotional regulation. It brings memories into the dream and offers a new context, a new frame, a safer version. Is your mind saying, what if this pain was just a story? What if you could revisit it without fear? Even nightmares have purpose. They help release stress, highlight inner conflicts, and bring buried emotions to the surface, where healing can begin. But tonight, your dreams are not nightmares. They are mirrors, calm, slow-moving, glimmering with light. You see yourself walking through a forest made of stardust. Each tree hums with the sound of your heartbeat. Each path bends toward peace. In dreams, logic steps aside. Creativity takes the wheel. This is why artists, writers, and inventors often find ideas in their sleep. Your brain is testing connections, pulling distant thoughts together, not with reason, but with imagination, and in doing so, prepares you for the waking world in a way nothing else can. Even the act of dreaming strengthens your sense of self. It shows you who you are. When you're not trying to be anything, you may dream of flying, or falling, or seeing someone you miss. You may dream in colors you've never named. But behind every image is your mind asking, how do you feel now? What do you need to let go? And when you dream, you are safe. Your body remains in protective stillness. Your heartbeat slows. Your muscles relax. Your breathing is deep and effortless. Your brain, for all its movement, is caring for you, not just repairing, but becoming whole. You begin to feel the edges of the dream dissolve, not vanish, just soften, like smoke becoming mist, like clouds folding into the sky. Your mind is preparing to rest again, and before it does, it leaves you with a final thought, not in words, but in warmth, a feeling of lightness, a quiet knowing that what needed to be faced was faced, that what needed to be felt, I felt, that what needed to be healed has begun, and now you let go. And so, as the mirror fades, you drift once more into deeper stillness. There are no more questions to answer, no more thoughts to untangle, just breath and calm and the slow return to rest. Outside, the sky holds you in soft darkness. Inside, the dreaming continues, not as noise, but as a lullaby. Even if you don't remember it in the morning, your mind will. It will carry the softness of this moment into the sunlight of tomorrow. Sleep deeper now. The world is quiet, and so are you.